teacher was like, wow, it seems like the music and the drum has a very influence on the children, like it grounds them. And it can be proven by the beat.
Sure.
By the beats that we play at the drum and the chanting. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, to me, especially seeing what has happened with the youth around our drum, I can't help but think, you know, is this part of the reason why they act up in school so much? They took away all the art, they took away all the music. How do they express themselves? And then I know Artie Red Medicine is a shaman who drums with us from the Shinnecock Nation. He's also chief of the Four Direction Society. His grandson has autism, couldn't even speak when he came around the drum. And then within a matter of months, he's running around having full conversations, joking with the kids, just like any other regular child. So definitely a lot of power in that drum, beyond just bringing people together, but you know, activating, I guess, certain aspects of individuals' brains that perhaps lie dormant or they're not used to using. And in particular, Artie always talks about the point that it's repetition. Yeah. So if you're dealing with an autistic child or someone like that, that's something that's a little bit easier for them to catch on to, and then through that, learning how to use other words as well to communicate with people. So, yeah. I just had a question on my mind.
Can I add something to that?
Sure, absolutely.
Like in the South, in South America during the slave time, the slave, I mean the master, let them keep the drum. In North America, they took away the drum away from. So when they went in the plantation, all they had was the humming. But in South America, I mean, the music that came from before salsa, I mean, they changed the name around. But you can find a similarity between the blues, the humming from the blues, and the music from South America. But once they kept the drum and once they didn't. And because of the rhythm that was kept in the South America, even the native, they found a similarity within the rhythm from Africa. So it's this, and it goes back through time.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Anything you want to add to that, Dave?
Well, the important thing is basically in whatever culture you come from, what your people are. It's important to keep that culture intact, basically, and really, if I were to tell you in the way that I've learned, the culture that as it was given to the people, what the older people have said, that it was perfect. So it wasn't no need to change it or modify it or anything like that.
I think that's a very, I don't want to say American, but establishment sort of way of thinking that things have to be tweaked to be perfect, or we need to change it, or something that we need to do to make things better, when a lot of times, like you said, the way they're given, they're fine. And then, you know, it gets beyond that, because beyond wanting to tweak it and make it better, then they start wanting to make it all the same. So that's when assimilation comes in. That's when they take the drum away. I was on Facebook last week, I think, and they were showing some, I forget what tribe they were, but they were like some warriors, and they said before and after. And they showed them when they had captured them. They had, like, you know, their regalia, they had their weapons. Then the next picture, the hair's combed over like they're European, you know, it's cut short, they're in suits and all that sort of stuff. And me personally, my thing has always been, you know, everyone's not the same, everyone's different. And we should respect and celebrate those differences amongst each other, instead of trying to say everyone has to be this way. Because Wolf, your way is not necessarily exactly my way. Dave, yours isn't the same as Wolf, mine isn't the same as yours. So how do we decide what is the correct way? And especially if we're going to say, oh, well, Dave's right. Well, Dave might not be all the way right. Dave might have something off a little bit here, but might be better over here. So why can't we celebrate what Dave's good at over here, and then celebrate what Wolf's good at over here, and just kind of, you know, as humans?
Yeah, that's like the European mentality. It's all in the mind. They want to perfect it in the mind. But what the natives did, they did it with the heart. So it's no, you can measure when somebody's being creative or expressive, you know, with the music. So when they start breaking things apart or changing things apart, it was with the mind. That's what they did with their beliefs too. You know, they start stripping them away from the drum. Also with the native, you know, and they change them and force certain belief upon them. But now, what I'm with is around the drum is that by chanting this language and seeing all the native are coming around back to the drum, they're bringing back the natural ways of the ancestors. I think that's, me personally, to my opinion, that's one of the beauty that I'm witnessing right now.
Fantastic. So if you gentlemen, give me one sentence. If you had to sum up the Eastern medicine singers in like one phrase, what would you say, Wolf?
One phrase?
Yeah.
One phrase. I'll say, we are the ones we have been waiting for.
I like that saying. I put that up on Facebook yesterday.
It's true.
Dave, what about yourself? If you had to sum Eastern medicine up in one phrase, what would you say?
Well, that's a real tough one. And well, I would say basically, I guess we're pretty loud when we do sing, and when we're done singing, we're usually hungry.
I wanted to actually get us in here, but because of scheduling conflicts and they record on both sides, it's not well soundproof. They were like, "Nah, you guys can't." I was like, "Yeah, we can't, man. We'll run every other
But
show."
yeah, it goes back though to what you were saying. For whoever people that you come from, you know, follow your ways. I'm not going to try to tell a Narragansett what to do or someone else what to do.
Sure.
You know, if you know that this is the way that you do things, that's the way you should stick by and keep your culture intact.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And share it. I think share it with other people as well, you know.
Yeah.
Like you said, I'm Narragansett myself, so.
It's what we say is we don't, even with our beliefs, I've always heard, well, if that's what you believe, then that's good. That's beautiful. This is the way that we believe.
Respecting other people's differences.
Yeah, right. We don't try to convert nobody.
Sure.
You know, we don't. Matter of fact, we try to encourage someone from another culture. You know, don't come looking for stuff in our ways. You know, you have your own. So, you know, follow that because it's important to you.
Sure.
You know, just as much as if whatever background that you're from, you should be. It should be important to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're coming to the close of the interview. Just for point of reference for the individuals who are in our studio audience or paying attention. Well, if you mentioned you're from the Arawak Nation, could you just explain a little bit about where that's from?
Well, it was named the Arawak Nation, but it's not. We didn't call ourselves the Arawak. According to my grandmother's teaching, we just call ourselves the people because there was no name for it. But it was in the area of South America, in the Caribbean, also. So they kind of travel a lot, and between themselves. They separate between the Caribs and the Arawaks, what they call them, the Arawaks. So they're still today, you can still find the Arawaks and the Caribs within the Amazon area.
Yep.
So yeah, basically that's where my roots come from.
Okay.
From my grandmother's side.
Very good. Dave, you mentioned Onondaga and Iroquois. Could you just a little bit of geography on where that's at?
Yeah. Well, Onondaga is. The fire of the Iroquois Confederacy, or Hodijistanutna, which means the fire keepers. And that's located in the center of the Confederacy. Original geography of that is what's now upstate New York.
Okay.
And there's Haudenosaunee. Haudenosaunee is the name that we call ourselves, as opposed to Iroquois was a given name.
Okay.
Haudenosaunee means they build a longhouse. They're the builders of the longhouse. So it's basically the original territory was upstate New York, and now people live in all over the place. There's communities in Canada, communities in Wisconsin, Oklahoma.
Okay. Very good. Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you for your time today. And as we close out, I was able to get some clips from our first annual drum feast, which we held on November 23rd at the Providence City Hall in the City Council Chambers. Very well attended event. I want to thank everyone that came out to support. And I will be looking forward to bringing you guys back on the show as we move forward in the future. You know, definitely want to keep the Eastern Medicine name out there. Does anyone know the website off the top of their head? I never remember it.
Which one from the?
Well, I know we're on Facebook. We're all over Facebook and YouTube, but there's an actual website. Like,
yeah, it's if you Google Eastern Medicine singers, you'll find it. I think that's the first website that comes up.
Okay.
All you have to do is Google Eastern Medicine singers,
All right.
and it comes up, and you'll see the Algonquin sound.
Okay,
Yeah.
very
And
good.
then you see the chief, Daryl Black Eagle.
Yep.
Is the one that started the website.
Sure, and just before we close out, the drum is an intertribal drum, so we have representation from Picasso Wampanoags, Daga, the Jaguar Nation. I'm Narragansett myself. There's at least one other Narragansett on the drum, Cy Seminole, Artie Shinnecock. So when you hear the natives speak about unity and the people coming together, that's kind of what Eastern Medicine's all about. So, gentlemen, thank you very much for your time today. Do appreciate it. And back to our studios.
Man, I gotta ask, what kind of shirt is that, man? What is going on with that shirt?
Oh, well, this right here, I know, if you don't know what it is, it does look crazy. It's what they call a ribbon shirt. Native Americans wear these at powwows or for ceremonial events, things of that nature. And really what it represents is from the Trail of Tears, the woman at the time as the natives were being marched from their original homes to the reservations, as the men would fall or the kids would fall and get hurt, the woman would take and rip strips of their clothing off and wrap it around their wounds. So that's what the different ribbons represent. And this one was made for me by a friend, Ollie Running Water from the Narragansett Nation. So hi, Ollie. And yeah, I wear it around when I'm trying to be spiffy. Had a nice event to attend today, so I'm not really a suit and tie kind of guy. So I figured, let's go with the ribbon shirt, and I threw my feathers on the hat. And that's what's up.
Man, you're wildin'. Well, I hope you enjoyed our show. What'd I tell you, straight fire, right? Well, this is your boy, Sed Rock, and Ray Wavy. He's somewhere out dancing or something. And we thank you for tuning into our show. Continue our support, and peace.